how is it going? So today we are going to go behind the scenes. It's a little different to what I usually do, but I thought if you're working from home or you're looking to work from home, this might be really useful for you. I'm going to take you behind the scenes to share with you the new studio I'm putting together for recording these videos and how I'm changing over my home office, as well as unboxing, because I have ordered all this equipment and I am yet to unbox it, so you're actually going to come with me. So let's go. Okay, so this is the basement and the work creative space. That is a multi-purpose room, and I will show you what I usually use it for. I have my desk in one corner, shelving and filing, as well as extra filing and workspace, because it's a working space, so all the paperwork is out, because this is where I work. So I'm gonna take you now to this other side of the room. My daughter's play area is right here together with her desk where she works. This is usually like a messy area. Right now, thankfully, it's not a mess. But my son's area, as you can see behind him, he has all these Lego things and stuff that he usually makes and creates that needs to just have extra storage. And I'm yet to buy extra storage for that space because it's not working right now, but that's for another day. Today, I just want to show you what's around here, what's not working, and what we're going to be transforming it to. And the last third of the room is actually what has been working as my recording studio. And as you can see, it's partly recording studio, partly storage for the kids. So obviously, when my daughter is trying to do and play between her table and getting her stuff, it's just not working if I leave this stuff out. And if I keep moving the stuff back into the corner, it means I have to reset the scene every time I want to record, which is what the problem has been coming up. And another issue is the chair is too close to the wall because there's no space for me to pull it away from the wall. So I'm not really getting the depth of field when I'm recording. And I don't really have I don't have enough room to move or change positions when I'm recording, and I get bored. So I need to change things up a little bit, and that has become a problem. The backing that you see right now is actually just a backdrop that is actually just a canvas cloth that I stapled on the wall, and that changed the scene pretty nicely because this is a rental and I can't paint it. And therefore that worked really well, but it's not working anymore and I need to change it up. These lights, as you can see them, are actually just a makeshift of what I used to use for my product light. You can see the other one right here is what it actually looks like. And I'm standing it on a stand that actually holds the backdrop. So this is not an actual stand for lights, but it's working and it's been working okay. These were the lights that I used to use when I used to do product photography, because as you may know or may not know, I have products that I have been selling in the past on Amazon and things that I used to make. So I used to take product photography. So these were the lights that I used to use for that. And when I started doing videos, I didn't really invest in lights yet because I just wanted to see how this goes. And so all I did was I bought these little umbrellas and a little diffusers and just used those to get me light to start with. And that usually works okay because I try to record during the day, and the windows, the 3 windows right here, actually bring enough light for me to be able to switch off these main lights that are here because they make a lot of noise. And when I switch those off and I have these in and the natural light coming in, it's usually enough for that. But obviously this is no longer working. So now I will show you where we're actually going to be moving to. So this room actually has been multi-purpose too. It's small. I have used it as a guest room when I've had people visit, but right now I will show you what's in here. I have boxes right here because these are leftover products that I pulled out of Amazon because I no longer wanted to sell this product. I have this table, which is a table that my son sometimes has been using to create different things. What's hiding behind there is extra things that I don't know. We moved about a couple years ago from a much larger house. So I have a lot of stuff. This is a rental and I'm still trying to decide where I'm going from here. So I want to just keep my rugs for now because they're pretty rugs and I actually really like them. I also have this salon equipment that used to be housed temporarily upstairs in the living area, and I hated the setup because it felt like there was just too much clutter and I really didn't like it. And initially I was gonna move the salon setup into this room, but then because I didn't like the setup with the recording, I realized maybe it's better if I move the salon little area to where the recording is now and move the recording area to this room. This table, I still don't know where I'm moving it to. It's gonna move somewhere in this room because there's nowhere else in the house that I can move it to, and actually set up this room to be a recording space. So obviously this is gonna be fun because I've not practiced this and I have no idea how everything is gonna turn up, but I'm really excited. Okay, so now we're going to be moving to unboxing. As you can see, all these boxes came the other day. They are all the stuff that's going to go into our new recording area. We're gonna open them up together and move on to setup. So now let's see what is actually in our box. We have our aperture light. I'm very excited about this one. The dome is missing because instead of sending the dome, they sent jewelry box. Who knows why? It's gonna take a couple more days for that to be delivered. Then we have camera because I have been recording out of my phone, the Note 10. That's been working okay. It's just that when I'm recording, I don't really like to do the front camera. It just doesn't look right. And when I do the back camera, I can never see myself and I'm fidgeting back and forth trying to see if I am in view, if everything is looking okay, and it's just a lot of work. So I figured I've seen this on YouTube quite a lot, and I figured it has a flip thing, so I should be able to see myself. Hopefully it's gonna make the job a little bit easier. And talking about making a job a little easier, I also bought this. It's a mini teleprompter, and that will hopefully be flagging up the topics I want to talk about and make that recording a little bit easier, so I'm not trying to remember or trying to access my notes a whole lot, and hopefully that will make the process a little easier. So with that came a new mic, this one, because the one I'm wearing now actually works pretty okay for sound. It's just when I'm moving, you can actually hear it. When I'm sitting really quietly and I'm recording everything and I'm moving, you can actually hear the movement, and that just always is frustrating for me because I can't correct it. I'm not a sound specialist. Post-production, I can't correct it too much for that. I don't know how, so I'm trying to make life a little simpler for myself. So I got myself a new recording kit, and these are just the cables for that, and this is just the interface for the mic. And I also have this patio lights to hopefully light the background a little bit, and got this backdrop, and it's a brick backdrop. Because it's a dark room, I didn't really want to try to light it up to put the background that was already too light, because then I thought it would be really hard to make it look light while the room is already dark. So work with what is already there. It's late night, I'm tired. Work with what is already there. we are going to see what I've been working so hard this past week. It took me actually a day to put together the recording studio, but the equipment has been kicking my backside. I've been changing things up, returning things, having things delivered again. So that's what took so long. But the actual change of the whole thing, the scene, the changing the stuff upstairs here in the living room, my salon equipment area, that took only a day. So I'm going to show you now what it looks like now compared to what it looked like before. Come with me. The living room is now back to being a living room with the chair that I used to do the recording with in the recording studio is now back here in the living area. And the salon chair has now gone downstairs, which I'll show you next. What used to be a recording space is now a hairdressing space. The chair, as you see, moved from the living area to this basement. The equipment I shifted from what is now the recording studio to this space, and I think it works so much better. It didn't need a whole room, and this corner is just perfect for that. I get to do my daughter's hair, I get to do my own hair in this corner, and it's just perfect for us. So now I'll show you where the recording studio has moved to. And here's the new recording studio. So I'll now show you what the room looks like, what it's in here, what did I go for. Excuse the light because it's very, very bright. That means I'm going to be a little overexposed at times, and I can't do too much about that because I'm using my phone right now. I haven't set up the camera just yet, but bear with me, that's what's going to come next. So the first thing is the teleprompter. I'm going to have all the details down in the description, so don't worry about missing or not having the details. It's going to be there, okay? The camera is the Canon EOS M50. The thing is, the lens that came with it didn't provide enough depth of field. The aperture wasn't high enough, so I'm ordering a new lens. I am somewhat removed from the background. You really can't appreciate that in this lens, so that's one of those things that I'm updating and changing up. The light is the aperture 120. It works really well. I can't really show you how dark this room is because it has no windows, no natural light whatsoever, and this just provides enough light for the whole recording thing to happen. Right now it just looks a little overexposed. Obviously, if I get over here you can see, but I promise you it works pretty good once I've adjusted in the camera. The stand that right now is going on the camera and the teleprompter is a stand that I've had for a long time, so I didn't have to get a new one. You will see that I have the stand obviously and the light. Those are new and they're gonna be in the link below. The Shure is a different one from what I was showing you in the unboxing, because once I had the one in unboxing, I'm gonna show you a picture, and I had it on a stand and it was coming up to my face, and I tried it out. It's just something about it didn't sit right for me, and so I sent that one back and I got the Shure. I think it's SMB something something something. I'm gonna link it in the description below. Don't worry, I can never remember details, but that's not the point here. This is not the point. It's not the point that I can remember it, because I'm just gonna link it below. But this has worked really well, and this attaches to the Focusrite, which then attaches to my computer when I'm recording, and that is how my audio is gonna be coming through with this setting. The room divider that's hiding the mess that you used to see on this side is something I already had for a long time, and I think I got it off Craigslist like a long time ago for like $50 or something like that. The little things, I just went and grabbed this one from Target, I think, and I got this one from Hobby Lobby. That one I already had, so it was just a little something so that the background is now completely bare. The backdrop, isn't this just beautiful? It actually really, I don't know if you can tell from I will try and see if you'll be able to tell from the pictures. Actually really truly does look like real brick. I am so impressed with this, and I got it from eBay. And the only thing is it comes from China, so it took forever to get here. The lights are just garden like string lights, and I got this off Amazon, and I'm going to link that. The little cushiony cute little thing over here, my kids have been sitting on this and moving it. This one, it was from Hobby Lobby. The little basket, that one was actually in here somewhere in the storage with everything else, and I just decided to bring it out and actually use it. Actually looks cute. I think it looks part of the setting. So really, if you think about it, the only thing that transformed this room, I feel, is the backdrop. It just actually really just changed the feel of this room. The big investments were obviously the light. Still, the light was the biggest investment, and second to that, I think it will be the camera and the new lens. The camera in itself, I think, is only $600, but the new lens is getting up there too. And obviously the mic. Those were the big investment because I wanted the audio to be of good quality. I wanted the light to be of good quality because there are no natural light in this room. The aperture light acts as the key light. I don't have enough space or depth to add light on my back. I figured the string lights might actually just work just as well. So that's what that came in. And the table and the chair are actually from my bedroom. I used this to just sit down and journal, and I wasn't sure how this room was gonna work out or how I was gonna like this, so I thought before I go invest in a new table and chair, I might as well just try what I already have and see if I like it. And if I do, I might reorder them and just send this one upstairs so I have my space back. So now I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you all the process and the thinking behind how I made the decisions that I made. Let's go get a seat. So if you're looking to refresh your own creative space or studio, there are 3 things I always keep in mind when I'm designing or redesigning my own space. Tip number 1, use what you currently have around the house and allow the space to speak to you. So for example, in my previous recording space, I used the chair that I already had in my living room, the lighting that I already had for my product photography, and I just used my phone. If you watch my first couple of videos, you will notice that I recorded them in my bedroom and I used the window as the key light, which didn't work too well because whenever the light intensity changed, the whole video feel and the quality changed too. I needed a more consistent key light, and that's why I moved to using my old photography lights. So using what you already have helps to avoid making these 2 mistakes. First one, rushing out to buy what might not work for you in your space, or you end up buying what might not actually work for the type of work that you do. So working with what you have first allows you to see from actual experience the essential things that are really missing and what's working, what might not be working. Secondly, it allows you to get well acquainted with your space, and so you aren't rushing to make changes that might not work long term. For me, it was a trial and error when it came to selecting the equipment for this new setting. The backdrop ended up being what I had in mind for the space. The lighting really worked better than how I imagined in my mind. I ordered another lens for the camera that allowed a little bit of more of a separation with my background. The current lens work okay, but the aperture just doesn't provide enough depth of field for what I was looking for. I also ended up changing the mic and how I thought I would set it up. I wanted to have a more a stand initially, but the space was just so limited here, so I ended up ordering this table stand instead. I also went with table and chair when initially I only wanted a chair because I didn't think I had enough space. Since I'm trying out the table and chair concept, I'm using this one that I already had in my room for journaling. I'll order a new set only if it continues to work for my needs, so I'll see how this works out. So if you're interested in any of this equipment and that I've shown you, feel free to check out in the description below. I'll put them in a link in the description below for you to check them out. So tip number 2, think about functionality over design. How a space functions precedes what it looks like. So the function comes first and the design complements the functionality. And if you're wondering what this looks like practically, I'll do another video, hopefully, where I'll showcase my two previous working from home office spaces. One was a much smaller house and one was a much larger house than the one I'm in right now. So you would just have a good perspective and how functionality actually dictated the designs for these spaces. So the questions you want to ask here is, what is the main function for this room? And what do I want to use this room for? What do I want this room to focus on first? If it's a multi-purpose room, as my previous recording setting was, decide which functions can come first, second, and third, and whether they will interfere with the main function or not. How will the furniture setup facilitate this, and what aspects maybe can be a double duty without you needing their own dedicated spaces so they can double up as something else. Tip number 3, let the space dictate the design. If you have a large floor-to-ceiling windows with high ceilings, creating a cozy reading corner might require a little bit more imagination than throwing a couch and a plant, for example. If your room is dark, as this was, with limited natural light, creating white, clean scene, which is supposed to be flooded with light, might not look like that Pinterest post that you pinned last week, you know? I experienced this a lot actually when I used to design wedding themes for Doreca designs. Clients would show me a magazine setting and say they wanted the same thing, but then I would find out the venue they were booking and I'll be filled with horror because I knew I was going to have to manage expectations, and weddings are never the pleasant time to do that. So start with what is naturally there and build on it. I have this weird thing personally where I see places as people and I imagine them saying something to me or me dressing them a certain way, and what would I say if I dressed them this way and who is talking, so others can listen. By this I mean having a main focal point being one person talking and hold back all the other aspects being others listening, so it isn't loud, so people can understand what we are trying to communicate through our designs. Remember, design is not an abstract thing. You're also interacting with it. Ask yourself, what does your personality need? Is this a design catering to that? Or for me, I need a very relaxing recording space. So creating videos is sort of a creative process that works well when I feel at ease. On the other hand, I don't really enjoy the mundane and the tedious admin activities, but they're necessary. So I want to be in alert mode when I'm doing them. So if I was to be in a relaxing setting, I feel like I would be falling asleep, you know? That's why in my current setting for my office area, it's kind of clean lines and white furniture, white IKEA furniture. But I chose very different furniture pieces when I worked exclusively through the Doreca designs, when my creative space and my office area were actually in the same space. I needed to remain inspired. So for example, I had Shakespeare quotes covered bookcases. So think of what you need and go from there. Let me know, out of these 3 tips, which one do you usually think about and which one do you tend to overlook? Let me know down in the comment section. I share a lot about design inspirations on Pinterest. Feel free to come and connect with me. I'll put the link in the description below. And if you like this video, make sure you hit that like button. Be sure to subscribe and share with others so they too can benefit from it. As we always say on this channel, focus on being than doing. And until next time, have a rested life.